My name is Brandon, and this is the story of how I went from getting fired by my boss to making over $100,000 per month a year later. I've finally reached a point where I'm financially free and can finally do what I want without worrying about paying bills, affording car repairs, or even buying my wife a nice Christmas present. Money is no longer a stressor. It's given me the freedom and peace of mind I always wanted. And by no means is this video meant to brag. Ultimately, my goal with this content is to serve as some inspiration for those of you who are currently in a difficult situation like the one I was in not too long ago. By the end of this video, I'll share a link to a free webinar where I walk you through the exact blueprint that took me from zero to $100,000 per month in as little as 1 year. I'll show you how you can replicate this process and turn your situation around, even if you're working full-time and don't have savings ready to go. Growing up, I was the youngest of 3 kids with an older sister and brother. My dad left us when we were young, and my mom struggled to support us on her own. One fall, my brother even went around the neighborhood raking leaves to help her pay the rent. We didn't come from much, and every dollar had to stretch. There was no wealth building mindset in our family, only a scarcity mindset. Always focused on getting by and making ends meet. I didn't grow up with money lying around, and we didn't see a clear path out. Life was about survival, not building wealth. I was taught that you had to go to college in order to be successful. So I took out a bunch of loans and got 3 college degrees, an associate in science, a bachelor's in computer science, and a master's in software engineering. And by some stroke of luck, I landed a job at Lockheed Martin. It's important to take note, though, there was no business experience in those degrees. They helped me get better at learning and taught me how to teach myself, but that didn't improve my financial situation. It actually made it worse because of all the loans that I took out. But I thought that this was the path to success. Even with a steady paycheck, I ended up living check to check. I could afford a nice apartment, but with rising costs, buying a home or really getting ahead felt impossible. This whole American dream thing was falling apart in front of my eyes. Then, out of the blue one day, my boss calls me to the office and says, "Brandon, we're losing funding and you need to find a new job. And you got a month to do so." It was a terrible feeling to feel completely out of control, that your financial means, somebody controls that, controls if you feed your children, if you feed your families, if you can put a roof over your head. That feeling of being out of control made me realize that relying on a 9-to-5 wasn't going to give me the security I needed. I had bills to pay and a family to take care of. I knew I needed to take control of my future, so I started looking for something better. Through the power of YouTube, I discovered rental arbitrage, legally renting properties to list on Airbnb. It was like a light bulb going off. I'd been grinding away at a 9-to-5, but here was a way to break free and build something of my own. That night, I couldn't keep it to myself. I came home, looked my wife in the eyes, and said, "Baby, pack your bags. We're going on a trip, and we're not coming back until we've secured an Airbnb." She looked at me like I was crazy, but she could see how serious I was. This wasn't just a dream. It was a commitment. The next day, I took the first step and opened an LLC, securing a business loan to fund the new venture. I wanted everything set up so that when we found the right properties, we'd be ready to act immediately. With our funding secured and the LLC in place, I booked flights for us that weekend and we flew 1,500 miles to Pittsburgh. When we landed, there was no time to waste. I hit the ground running, cold calling landlords and pitching the idea to whoever had a property. Every no only made me more determined, and I kept telling my wife, "We're so close. Just one yes, and this trip will be worth it." By the end of the weekend, I convinced not one, but 2 landlords to let me list their properties on Airbnb. With everything already set up, we were able to get to work quickly, setting up both those properties in 1 month while still working our 9-to-5 jobs. You might be thinking, "Man, that sounds like a lot of work." And boy, was it. But we made some of the greatest memories. We stayed up late building furniture, eating pizza and ice cream. and proving it was possible to build this business alongside a full-time job. That first booking came in fast. Within 8 hours, we had a $3,000 booking that covered $2,000 in rent and gave us $1,000 in profit. I was hooked. So we repeated this process, turning Airbnb into a passive income stream that eventually ran on autopilot. By creating the right systems around the business, I can manage everything smoothly. Today, I'm running 13 properties across 4 states, all using the same model. This wasn't just a side hustle anymore. It became a well-oiled machine, generating income and giving me freedom without needing to be hands-on every day. Now, here's the thing. I didn't have a ton of savings to pull this off. It's not like I had $50,000 in the bank. I used what's known as OPM, other people's money. I found a business loan, using it to cover costs and scale faster than if I waited to save up. This concept of OPM isn't just for wealthy investors. It's for anyone willing to take the first step. In fact, OPM is a well-known term in real estate. Go ahead and look it up. Think about it. If you're like I was, grinding at a job, wanting something more, but thinking you need a pile of cash to get started, you don't. You just need to understand how to leverage resources around you. You need to be a problem solver. Just like I did, you can set up an LLC, secure funding, and use that borrowed capital to build something profitable. This isn't about having money, it's about finding ways to create money by using the right tools. As you now know, I wasn't born into wealth, and you don't need to be either. I was working late nights, still showing up to my 9 to 5, and building this business on the side. By the time that first booking rolled in, I knew this was more than possible. In fact, it was the way out of that paycheck to paycheck cycle. And if I could do it, starting with almost no business experience, there's nothing stopping you from doing the same. Full transparency. Here, you can see my profile on Airbnb.com, where I'm logged in, showing you the numbers directly. In just the past year, from October 2023 to 2024, we've generated this number through our Airbnb listings alone. And remember, this is just one platform. We also bring in revenue through direct bookings on our website and other platforms like Vrbo and Booking.com. Altogether, this side hustle has more than replaced my W-2 income, meaning I could focus on it full-time if I wanted, or keep it part-time and enjoy the freedom it brings. Today, I only spend about 30 minutes a week managing these 13 properties across 4 states. That flexibility lets me be there for my family and allows me to spend time with them. If you want to create more time for your family, reduce financial stress, or simply find a new direction, as you can see, this is something you can build alongside your full-time job and scale as you grow. Now, as I promised at the beginning, there's a link in the description to a free webinar where I'll walk you through the exact blueprint I used to create this success. I honestly don't know how long I'll be able to keep this webinar up and available for free, so don't wait. This could be your chance to turn things around and start seeing results in as little as 1 month. Click to join and take the first step toward transforming your life. Trust me, it's worth it.